Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dagan. Welcome to the video. This is going to be my comprehensive crafting guide on Warhammer 40k Darktide. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We've got my character right here. We are on my Sire. And the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to crafting are your materials. Your crafting materials, which are right here where I'm moving the mouse. So the first ones are ordo dockets. And then the next ones are plasteel and diamantine. These guys right here, you get them from contracts and you don't have to worry about them. They're not specifically tied into the crafting system itself, but you can use them to enhance some of your weapons that you do end up, creating. And I will show you how to do that, but we're going to save that towards the end. Let's first start off again with our ordo dockets, plasteel, and diamantine. So again, these are all found in playing the missions throughout Darktide. You will, whether you win or lose a mission within the game, you are going to get ordo dockets, which is money. You can buy stuff and pay for things. This is very important. You're going to probably run out of this pretty quickly. Same with your plasteel. The plasteel probably goes even faster than the ordo dockets sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do. And the plasteel is found throughout the missions, and you can pick it up when you find it. It's shared between every player in the match. Same thing with diamantine. It's found throughout the match, and it is shared between all the characters in the game. So please make sure you pick it up, and don't be that guy that risks the entire mission to pick up a stack of plasteel. I see it all the time. Don't be that guy. But anyway, let's continue on. And I want to show how to craft and ultimately the best practices that you can do and things that I like to do, so that way you can ultimately know the best way to craft your weapons and not blow all of your materials in one shot, because it can happen. You can get pretty unlucky if RNG is not on your side. So let's look at what we're going to be crafting today. So I think I'm going to do this staff right here for my Sire, this force staff. Sorry if I mispronounced that. The one that shoots fire. So we're gonna craft on this one. And I do want to do a quick explanation of gear and weapons and ultimately what you should be looking out for. So the highest base stat in Darktide right now is 380. Okay, so this is the base stat. So it's all of these stats put together equals this number. So the base stat is that's absolutely at the peak is 380. So this is a 370, so it's pretty solid. And it has a pretty good stat distribution. This other staff I have is at 374. I've got a 378 right here. My revolver's at 376. So you will find some 380s. I'm not sure if I have a 380 on me I can show you, but they are out there. They do exist. I have some on my veteran. I know for a fact that I have at least two 380s on my veteran. But yeah, so you want to try to get this number as high as possible, and that just comes randomly from when you buy a weapon, straight from the guy, which is right here, the Armory exchange. These weapons can drop, at various stat ranges. Same with these. They're all random drops. They can drop at various ranges. And the ones that he has in the requisition can be pretty high. Like this Blaze Force sword right here is at 371. Has decent stat distribution right here. Maxed out 80, 80. 80% is the highest that any of these stat bars can go. So the closest you can get them all to 80, the better. And there's like a 325, 367, these range. So the first tip I'm going to give you is when it comes to crafting, and depending on what you want to craft, always check what his inventory is. Okay, it's super important that you do that, because you might find exactly what you're looking for in the store here. I have found some great staffs within the game, some great swords. He's had god rolls. Oh, look, his stuff just updated. And so we can check here. Here's a trauma force staff. Here's a void strack. Here's another sword. So he has some good stuff. And also check these blues. for some blessings. Okay, they might have blessings you don't have, like this uncanny strike tier 1. I don't have that, but it's only a tier 1, so it's not a big deal. I'm not going to go out of my way to purchase that, but always check his inventory first before you start doing any full in-depth crafting, because doing this right here, buying them directly from him with the random drop chance of the stats, can get very expensive. Like this is 10,800 Ordo Dockets per Void Strike Staff. And again, it's totally RNG what stats you're going to get. So you could, I blew like 250k Ordo Dockets yesterday and didn't get what I was looking for. So always check the store and just to see what he has before you start dumping money into here. But hopefully you'll have better luck than I do and ultimately find the weapon with the right stats you're looking for. So let's go ahead and get into the crafting. So looking at that staff, which is right here, okay, we're going to want to go ahead and consecrate. So once you've collected plasteel and diamantine from your missions, you have enough Ordo Dockets, depending at what level you are within the game, which usually at low level, this process is really cheap and easy. I can show you just to consecrate this gray, base staff to a green to get a perk. It's going to cost me 146 plasteel. At lower levels, this is going to be much cheaper. But I do suggest just going ahead when you're playing your first, 20, honestly, up until level 30, you don't really need to be blowing all your materials and upgrading your weapons. I would say every 10 levels you could re-upgrade your weapons. As long as you learn how to play the game and the mechanics of the game, you're going to do fine with grays and blues and greens that don't have great perks or blessings. You're going to do fine. It's not until you get into max level 30 and you're trying to do Auric Damnations that your weapon really can make a difference, but you can even get through those with all gray weapons. I've seen it be done. You just have to have good game sense. But all right, so looking at crafting this staff, we want to go ahead and upgrade it all the way to the highest rarity, which is Transcendence, I believe. But we'll see how that goes here. So I'm going to upgrade it to a green, and now we got our first perk. We did get a max rank perk, and you can tell by that by these little squares here. So this is a plus 25% on yielding enemies perk. That's not terrible. It's not the best either, but I usually don't like to do any modifications to weapons until it's fully upgraded, because you might get, the best blessings on this weapon, or you might get, 2 really great perks, and maybe one thing is bad. I think it's better to just wait, upgrade it all the way, see what you get. Some, you might have a great rolled staff or gun or sword or whatever it is, and you might get crappy perks and crappy blessings. You just got to kind of start from scratch, and that's kind of where it comes from within the RNG space. So let's go ahead and continue upgrading this weapon. So again, from gray to green, it was 100 and something plasteel, and now it's going to cost me another 195 plasteel to go from green to blue. And we're going to get a blessing this time. And so blessings are another set of perks that come on these weapons, and they can sometimes actually almost fundamentally change how you play with the weapon. For example, on the veteran, there's the power sword, and you can get a blessing on there that allows you to do multiple charge swings before having to reactivate the power sword, which is really good. It increases your DPS and overall your uptime on your powered swings. So there are certain blessings in this game that can really change the way that you want to use your weapon. In this case, this one, suppress enemies with 7 meters radius on close range kill. So this is a close range kind of staff. It doesn't have super long range. So this is actually not a terrible one. I think there are better options out there, but Terrifying Barrage, okay. I'm not super disappointed with that. But let's go ahead and continue upgrading. We're going to go from blue to purple. So now the plasteel has jumped again, and now we are requiring diamantine. So you're going to probably always have quite a bit of diamantine than you do plasteel, because it just costs so much more plasteel to go. I was almost at 2k plasteel, and now we're already at 1600. And to fully craft the perfect weapon, it is going to cost you quite a bit of plasteel. So try to collect as much as you can without jeopardizing your missions, because you also need those ordo dockets and completions as well. So let's go ahead and consecrate this to purple, and we got our next perk. So we got a tier 3 perk plus 8% range damage on elites. Okay, not terrible. Again, not the best, but it is what it is. So now we're at purple. And overall, I hope you've been noticing that the overall rating of the weapon has been going up. So this number is this plus this plus this. And it's going to continue to do that depending on the perks and the blessings that we get. So if this drops with a tier 4 blessing, it's probably going to go up much more. But we'll see what it gets. And right here, it'll tell you, if you get a really bad blessing, it's going to show you the lowest rating, and then it could go up much more than that. Let's go ahead and upgrade this one final time to get it to Transcendent rank. Alright, so we got Warp Nexus. And this is a good showcase too, is if you notice, both these blessings have magnifying glasses right here. And so what that means is that both of these blessings I do not have in my blessing book. So to explain that, we're going to want to look at that staff that we just created, which is this one right here, actually. And we can actually re-bless this weapon. So this one has Warp Nexus and Terrifying Barrage. And we do have 2 modification slots available. This means that I can change out 2 things on this staff. Either 2 perks, 2 blessings, or 1 perk and 1 blessing. Depending on how you want to do it, what you really need to change. If these were both, tier 4, if this was Warp Nexus, tier 4, and this was, let's say, Warp Flurry, tier 4, I wouldn't have to change these whatsoever. It would be perfect there. Probably just change whatever it needs here. In this case, I'm not disliking what we have right here too much. So I am going to go ahead and re-bless Terrifying Barrage just so you can see. And so this is my blessings book. So I have 1 tier 1 blessing, which is a Warp Nexus. I have a tier 2 here. This is a Warp Nexus. And 0 tier 3 and 0 tier 4. So I actually can't even re-bless it, because it's not going to let me put on Warp Nexus again, because I already have it on this staff, and I have it in a tier 3 version. So that's not a problem at all. Let's look at one of my other staffs. So I've got Terrifying Barrage tier 4 here. And I actually have Warp Flurry here. So since we have Warp Flurry here, we're gonna go ahead and want to put it onto the staff we created. And so to do that, we are gonna have to surrender the weapon. Okay, and that's how we'll earn the blessing and add it into our blessing book. And so to do that, you're just gonna click on the staff that you have the blessing that you want. And these magnifying glasses, again, recognize that you don't have these blessings within your book. And so if we take that, so if we do earn blessing, we do Warp Flurry, we're going to hit surrender. This is going to destroy this staff. The staff is going to go away. We're going to surrender it, and we earn the blessing, add it to war gear. So now when we go into our other purgative staff that we did craft, we can re-bless. Remember, we're going to get rid of Terrifying Barrage. And there it is, Warp Flurry 3. And remember, we had nothing in this tier 3 column. We still have nothing in tier 4. So now we have Warp Flurry 3. And so to re-bless it, it's going to cost us some order dockets, plasteel, and diamantine. So here we go. Nice. And now we have a modification complete on our staff. So now we have Warp Flurry and Warp Nexus. Both of them are really good and will help us, play better on in this game. So I think for this staff specifically, we could go ahead and refine it again, and we can, change this out. So from unyielding enemies, we could do, maybe critical hit chance. That would be pretty good to stack on top of our Warp Nexus. Or we could also do, just straight up flak armored enemies. and then we can upgrade that. Or if we wanted to get rid of the 8% range damage, we could do that as well. And that would actually increase, if we did put a tier 4 on it, that would actually increase our overall rating on this staff. But we don't really need to do it. I'm going to actually leave this staff as it is because it's pretty good. I like the blessings. The blessings really are what truly make the weapon. The perks can just help, break through some thresholds for your damage, and those can be really useful as well. For now, I'm going to leave this because I'm kind of indecisive on what I want to put on this staff right now. But yeah, this is how you craft, and ultimately what you need to be looking at is going to be case by case, depending on your build and all of that. And I do want to explain something else. So since we did earn Warp Flurry, so the way blessings work, specifically on weapons, is you can basically take weapons. So like, let's look at these. So I've got this Headhunter autogun, and it's got this tier 1 Headhunter blessing. And I've got this infantry autogun, and it has sustained fire. So if I actually surrender this weapon to get this blessing and try to put it on this autogun, it's not going to let me bless this autogun with this blessing, okay? Even though they're both autoguns. The difference is that this is a Headhunter autogun, this is an infantry autogun. So the actual weapon model itself, the actual gun itself, is different. So this is infantry, this is Headhunter. Now, if I did surrender this weapon, and let's go ahead and do that, we're going to hit Earn Blessing on this Headhunter autogun. We're going to earn Headhunter. Okay, we did that. And I've got this other Vrax Mark III. So the other one was a different Mark version of Headhunter autogun. I can actually consecrate this. And now I could re-bless this weapon with that Headhunter tier 1 blessing that we got from the autogun that we did surrender. And that's how the blessings work. So the model of the weapon, the version of the weapon, so the Mark III, Mark IV, Mark VI, the Mark version of the weapon does not matter. What matters is the type of weapon it is. So this Headhunter autogun, I cannot go into the infantry one and try to put that Headhunter blessing on it. Okay, it's not here, as you can see. It's not here because these are different types of autogun. And same thing with the staffs. So my Warp Flurry that we took from the Purgatus, I'm not going to be able to put that on my Search Force or my Void Strike because the staffs themselves are different types of staff. And so that's one thing that you do need to look out for. So when you are surrendering weapons, do not surrender your staffs that have great blessings. If you have a great rolled Search Force staff, the blessings on this staff cannot be put on the Void Strike and cannot be put on the Purgatus. It's the same thing with guns. The stub revolver, the blessings on this revolver cannot be put on the pistol. The lapis pistol. You can't do that. So just be aware of that when you are trying to craft your weapons, okay? Now, I do want to talk about looking at... Remember I said you want to look at your weapons here, make sure that there's some good stuff in there. He has high stats, but over here at Sire Melk's Requisitorium, you can look at his limited time acquisitions, and in here he will have different weapons with different blessings. And so if you see, let's say you were trying to craft a heavy las pistol, then you can go ahead in Furnace tier 4, that's a great perk. You could go ahead and buy this weapon, and even this roll itself is really good. But let's say it wasn't. Let's say this was a 320, and you have a 380 sitting in your inventory that you want to craft, and you're looking for Infernus. You could buy this from him, steal the blessing, surrender the weapon after you buy it, and ultimately go into your actual las pistol and then put that blessing on it. And Inverness is a great perk for the last pistol. So that's what you would want to do with your materials here, and you can buy weapons. And so I always recommend going ahead and checking out this Requisitorium, see if he has what you need. If you're looking for a dueling sword or whatever, just double check. He might have, a perfectly good weapon here. Like this last pistol is really good, 370. It's got decent, got great blessings here, and then decent perks. So, all right, my fellow agents, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all sticking through the end, and I hope you learned something. If you did, please leave a like down below. And if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions as far as crafting goes in Darktide, please leave it down in the comment section. All right, I'll see y'all in the next video.